Well, what's going on, everybody out there in YouTube land? Double one, double two wing nut out here, and I thought I'd come out and hang out for a little while. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Huh? What do you want to do? I don't know. I might pull the table over here. Hold on, let me sit down. Yeah, grab me a chair and sit out here a little bit. Sit out here and see if anybody pops up in the live. Little bit wants to say hello to everybody. Say hello a little bit. Little bit say hello. Yep. See if anybody pops in here this morning. Well, I got one of her favorite toys to play with. Is one of the cheapest things you can get for a dog to play with. Sit. Sit. I see it. I'll throw it. I'll throw it again if you let me see it. There you go. Big girl came in to say hello too. Who's that popped in? Oh, Snooks. What's going on? And Rule. Morning. Let's see here. Let me see that ball. Uh-huh. You gonna let me see the ball so I can throw it again? Let me see it. Let me see it. There you go. Give it. What is it? Read my whole comment. Hold on. I don't like the new StreamYard. Oh, Nana came in. Old man. Look at that. Snook's calling me fat, and now she's calling me old. Holy crap on a cracker. I'm now an old fat man, according to Snooks. I'm an old fat man. Well, it's about almost 9:20 in the morning here, 9:19, and 77 degrees, 78 degrees. It's kind of hazy out there, so it's not a very clear day today. I think we're going to get some more thunderstorms later on this afternoon. Old, fat, ornery. Old, fat, and ornery. Uh-huh. I hear you. I'm old, fat, and ornery. I guess I'm old enough where I can say anything I want, and everybody's just like, don't worry about him. He's just old and ornery. Don't pay attention. Don't pay no attention to him. He's just old and fat and ornery. I don't sound old. Thank. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I like radio. Yeah. Snarks and sass. Morning, girl. Well, there was a couple of people that were doing live streams this morning, and just for short periods or whatever. And they both shut down, and I was like, well, I'm kind of bored. And when they shut down, I was like, well, I might as well go ahead and pop up a live just for the shits and giggles, and see how many people pops in and got anything to talk about, you know. And sit out here and throw the ball for the dog for a little while, and a little bit loves chasing that damn ball. We're live tonight. All right, Snarks. I'm gonna tell you, I try to catch everybody that I'm subscribed to. I try and catch everybody that goes live and stuff like that, you know. So I'll probably pop in, you know, just so I can see what's going on, what everybody else is sitting there talking about. Give me that ball. Give me that ball. And see what everybody else doing. Yeah, just a little while ago, Hutch was live and Billy was live, and they shut down, and so I was bored. Yep, just for the shits and giggles. I didn't really have anything to do. I haven't decided what I'm going to do today. I haven't really decided. I don't really have any definite plans for anything yet. Um, but you know, let's see here. Let's go walk around just a minute. All my fresh dirt out here. A little bit out here, been digging. This is where the septic tank is, but the first one we put in collapsed on me. And I mean, it just like the weight of the dirt just collapsed it. So I just put another tank in. So this is all still fresh, no grass growing in it yet. And a little bit keeps on digging these little holes and stuff all over the place. I'm trying to keep her from digging holes. Let me see that ball. Let me see that ball. Let me see that ball. Let me see it. Let me see it. What's up, Billy? Yeah, I was bored. I was like, well, shit. You went ahead and shut your live stream down. I was like, well, fuck it. I might as well go ahead and do one myself and come out here and do some conversating with people and see what everybody's doing. Still got to do some work out here. Got a little bit out there. She's the queen of the hill. Put this mound of dirt out here because eventually I'm going to spread it all out here and kind of level this place out. But a little bit loves the top of the hill. She is the queen of the hill. That's like one of her favorite spots to sit is up there on top of that hill. She's dug herself a trench right there so she can lay down in there. But I don't know if any of you guys remember. There used to be a frame that was at one time going to be the floor system for a deck of a house and all that stuff out here. We ended up pulling all this shit out, and probably going to need about 2 more loads of this dirt to kind of get out here in this spot and kind of level this out. Eventually, my sister wants to put a pole barn out here and camper, and my mom wants to find some kind of a camper or something like that and put one out here also. So when they come down and visit and all that stuff, they got somewhere to stay. Eventually, like I said, there's just like that one right there. That's not going to be enough. So we're going to probably get about 2 more loads of dirt and spread it out and kind of level it out. So I think the pole barn is probably going to go right here. I think this might be a good spot. I've been talking to my sister about it, because I mean, I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spigots. So water is already out here. And it's quite possible. I mean, the campers, I don't think we're going to have them hooked up to like anything like a bathroom or anything like that. So we're probably going to build like a bathhouse. You know, it's got like a shower, toilet, and washing machines and all that stuff. Or kind of like a communal bathhouse. And what I'm thinking, what I was telling them, what I was telling my sister, that if they do the pole barn in that area, they can tap into my old septic tank that I put out here. I put in an old septic tank, and it's right here, and it'll be plenty for for them and all that stuff. So they don't have to worry about a septic tank. But it's a possibility that um, I don't know what she's going to do. It's kind of like a plan for the future kind of thing, because they want to have something to come out to. And someday, I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I've got to take this antenna down and take this tower down and transfer it over to the new place over there. And I just been putting it off because I know what it takes to pull that damn thing down. And because I'm the one that put it up there by myself, and I'm just like, well, shit, that's just I'm not looking forward to it. And it's a pain in the ass. So I don't know. What I'll end up probably doing is um, taking an old deer stand and welding it up to where I can, I can attach it to these runs and have that old deer stand as like a platform to stand on. So every one of these connections, instead of standing on these rails and stuff, I can stand on that deer stand and I can sit here and unscrew everything and lower each one of these sections down, because each one of these sections is 10 foot. So it's a pain in the ass. So eventually I got to do that one of these days. And eventually I got to get everything out of that piece of shit and move that and basically trash that thing. But, it's a kind of a long-term goal because I'm not in a hurry. I need to bring that over there. Some of that flea and tick shampoo for the dogs. Because damn dogs are got a bunch of damn fleas on them. All right, girls, I'm going to go back over here and sit in the shade. So I don't feel like sitting in this damn sun anymore. And sit here and yeah, a little bit. See, that's a little bit, and that's her mama, big girl. Little bit looks a lot like her dad, and her dad is my cousin's dog that lives down the way, and looks like. And I'm just judging by, because she's been knocked up 3 times, and I'm just judging by past if she's pregnant or not, and I think she is again. I'm not sure. I mean, her tits are, filling up and all that stuff. So I'm assuming she's knocked up again. Not looking forward to that again. I got to deal with puppies again eventually. Not looking forward to that again. And I'm certainly not looking forward a little bit getting pregnant ever. And quite honestly, If that damn boy dog wasn't my cousin's dog, I would have already shot it. I'm so sick and tired of that damn dog coming over here and knocking up my girls. So sick of it. So every time I see him anywhere near the house, I'm sitting out here with my rifle and I pop off a couple of rounds, purposely missing the dog because it is my cousin's dog and I don't want to kill my cousin's dog. But if it wasn't my cousin's dog, I would have already killed that damn thing. Just because I'm just so sick of it coming around and knocking up my girls. And I sure as hell don't want little bit getting knocked up by her daddy. These damn dogs don't know the difference. And then we'll do it. One of them things. Down here so I can see you guys in chat. Well, it's not really an option for me. I don't have the money to do it. Um, Here in Florida, I don't have my dogs. None of my dogs have got rabies shots. And here in Florida, if I want to get them fixed, they have to have rabies shots. So that costs like, I don't know, $30 or $40. And then on top of that, to get them fixed, it costs $100 a piece. I don't have the money to do that. I've got a very limited, income. Yeah, sounds like somebody coming down the driveway. Yeah, no, no, man, I guess not. I just think they're just going down the road. Never mind. I guess they're just going down the road. But yeah, I don't have the money to do that shit. And I've had many, many dogs over the years, and I've never gotten them fixed, never gotten them any, snipped, or never gotten any of them vaccinated or, rabies shots or anything. I've never had any problems other than I've got a horny bitch that just doesn't want to stop getting pregnant. I wish my damn cousin would just fix his dog and then we'd solve that problem. You know, I mean, why should it be my responsibility? I don't know. Neither one of us are willing to do it. And neither one of us are willing to fix our dogs, or we have our own reasons and stuff like that. So one of them things. But it's one of them things. Drink. Damn, I hear a vehicle. Come on, let me go over here and see. Hear a vehicle. I do. There it is. There's something going on down there. I wonder what my uncle's doing down there. Oh, damn, my uncle's bringing a big ass dozer. Or no, there's a excavator. What's he doing over here? Wonder what he's got going on over here today. Got himself an excavator down here. Let's take a walk down here and take a gander at what's going on. Hopefully I won't overheat this damn battery and stuff like that here, because I'm going to be in the sun for a minute. Let's go down here and see what's going on down here with the excavator. I wonder what he's doing out here. I don't know. I knew I heard a truck. I thought it was just going down the highway until I started hearing it come closer. I was like, oh shit. But he's got that big ass excavator out here for some reason. Let's see what's going on down here. Damn. Sun right on top of my head. I should have brought my fucking hat. I didn't bring my hat. It's already hot in this damn sun. I mean, hell, I checked the damn temperature. It was like 78 degrees a little while ago. I mean, it's probably gotten up to about 80 something degrees right now. 80 something odd degrees right now. And straight down on that damn, with that sun straight down on top of you. Yeah, it's really beautiful property, but the only problem is me personally, I think all this golf course type look out here is bad for the environment. Personally, it was a lot nicer out here because all this grassland used to be a pine forest back when I was a kid. It was a lot nicer then. A whole hell of a lot more trees. Now there's just barely any trees out here, and it's nothing but damn grass. And my uncle's out here mowing almost every freaking day to mow this thing, so because he likes this golf course look. Me personally, I don't. I can care less for this damn golf course look. And I like I said, I think it's bad for the environment. There's just nothing out here. I think that's if let's just say, for shits and giggles, let's just say, that global warming, global cooling, climate change, and all that shit is real. Let's just say it is. I'm not saying it is, but let's just say it is. The reason why it is happening is because of this golf course, stuff, no trees, just nothing but grass and concrete. All right. That's what's causing it. Quite honestly, man, if we would just plant trees, it would totally reverse this idea of climate change. It would totally be reversed. But you listen to Bill Gates and he's like, that's just foolish. That's just bullshit. We don't need trees. Trees. Humbug. That's according to Bill Gates and his infinite wisdom, right? Is this excavator in the state? Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's in the States. It's out here on the property. I mean, Not exactly sure what my uncle's got the excavator out here for, but I'm just going to take a guess. Probably going to dig a big ass hole to use it as a burn pit. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. You know, but I didn't even know he was going to bring this out today. But let's go over here and check it out. That's a nice little Peterbilt right there, boy. Oh yeah, Peterbilt right there. Yeah, buddy. What you doing? That's what I figured. I had a feeling that's what you're going to do. Dig a hole. What, a burn pit?
Gonna clear a road. See my property line? That's my south property line. Goes right from the pond.
Yeah.
We're gonna clear a road. My property with my sister Sandra and your uncle Steve's
But you're going to go over the creek?
property. We're gonna open it up, and then we're gonna build like a little bridge across the creek. It's just gonna be for like golf cart or 4-wheelers or walking. It's a part of so that they have access from their property onto the blue pond without having to come through my property.
Are you talking about St. Augustine? All them or just us? Oh, just for them? And okay.
Yeah, so they have access to the Blue Pond 40, which they don't have unless the road is built. And it's just part of, I want to do about a 4-mile walking
Oh, yeah.
nature trails through. I've already been working on parts of it. This will be the connector part.
Yeah, I heard the truck and I was like, well, shoot, man, that sounded like it's pretty close. And I was like, oh, yeah, man, look, they got the ding.
Kind of close, huh?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know where it was coming. I could hear the dings. Now the engine. I was like,
I've got to do some running around, but I'll come back today and we'll probably do some work tomorrow. I may even do something today.
You come back with
Yeah, we'll come in. Yeah. If they, the people that I had using it, I can't even, I gotta do this. I got a farm. I got a farm to hold it in place so I can grab stuff. Sure, I don't even have. But I'll.
Black Watch, what's going on, bud? So, yeah, this is a neat old tree. I don't know if I've showed you guys this or not. I doubt it. But this old tree has been here for about 100 years. This old tree right here, this has been here for almost 100 years now. And it's still standing through many hurricanes and everything. That's one of the oldest trees out here anyway, so that I know of anyway. And it's still standing. It's dead, but it's still standing. But it's a pretty neat old tree.
Tape on.
Okay. All right, man. Well, just let me know when you come back.
It'll be this afternoon. I'm gonna bookmark this and then I help him get out. I gotta go dress.
Well, if it's not today, it's tomorrow. Thank you, man. Yeah. So this is my southern.
Yeah.
Go from here. Just a natural opening right through here.
Yeah.
When you get to the creek,
Yeah.
440s have a common point in the creek. So my
In the creek?
right in the creek is where
Oh,
the
okay.
peg is. So this property's southwest corner is there. Sandra's northeast corner is there. The Blue Pond 40s
And Steve's.
northwest corner is there, and Steve's southeast corner is there.
Yeah.
Pretty corners there. So we're gonna kind of come through here, and that gives access for Sandra and Steve to come this way onto the Blue Pond 40. You know, they always have it, but there's no road, no way to do it.
Unless they just go like that way,
coming
around and stuff, right? I was worried about the dang creek though when you were mentioning that though. So I was like, okay, build a bridge.
Yeah, so we'll do some kind of little bridge, or we may put a culvert, fill over it. You know, it's not you driving trucks and cars and stuff.
I'm always, just browsing around on Marketplace, and I was there was a guy, I think he was out in Fort Walton, or no, I can't remember if he's in Fort Walton. I can't remember if it was in Fort Walton or Panama, but he had some nice big pieces of culvert for sale.
Yeah,
Metal culvert. So I mean,
Well,
and
like
it's actually a lot cheaper, than.
but that plastic corrugated is
Yeah.
stronger.
Is it stronger than the metal
It
stuff?
sure is, and it don't ever rot.
Well, yeah, metal will rust.
And don't need a big one. I need one that's maybe
A 4 foot, 5 foot round, 4 foot round.
probably no more than 2 foot.
Oh yeah, it's not a very big creek.
Once we get it clear and I see what's going on in the creek, then that'll decide the part of the culvert. Because on that side, the hillside, is where we're going to create like a little plateau and take that dirt and put it on top. So I don't have to buy any dirt. We can pull it from that side. So there's a little plan. It's 2 months. We can get this thing freed up. You need something like that. That's probably in a day get through.
Yeah.
And we'll bring a dozer in and work on some more of it. Yeah, so that's now you know the rest of the story.
But yeah, I mean,
So my
I didn't know the does were coming in today, so I was like, I heard that diesel. I was like, where's that going?
I didn't know. He told me he was going to try and come this week, and he just texted me, and then he called me just 20 minutes ago. Said, "Hey, we're on our way. We'll be there in a few minutes." I said,
Okay.
"All right." Anyway, my property line goes at an angle. Goes so
Yeah.
it kind of crosses right there at the well and goes right across the bottom pond. Just a little bit of the bottom pond is on the
Yeah.
blue pond.
To where the end of the fence line on that other side. Yeah.
So if you took, I'm going to eventually cut that stuff right at the end of that tall railroad post that's sticking up.
Yeah.
I'll put some ribbon around it so it's sight from there to here to really see. But it's just a little corner on that side, and the rest of it's on our side.
I even got an old transit too, man. You can do all that with sighting it.
Good. That is not going to be. Big truck coming in the gate.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, I'm gonna go on back to the house and get back out of this sun at least. It's supposed to rain later on.
yeah. Rest of the week is raining, but it's all right. It won't stop them. They're enclosed.
Huh? Oh, I know. Yeah. All right, I'll catch up with you later. Hey, Indy. Well, there you go. I figured out what the excavator's for. Build ourselves a little a little trail, big enough for golf carts and four wheelers and walking through the woods to different parts of the different pieces of property. It's like I said, I was like, for all you guys out there, I was like, a lot of this, a lot of this property is connected with a bunch of other different property, which is family. I mean, we got a lot of different family that's got pieces of property out here, all kind of adjacent to each other. And but until recently, when my uncle moved out here full time, I was the only one out here living full time. And I've been living out here full time since what, 2013 or something like that. And just recently, my uncle sold his house and decided to move out here full time. So, basically, eventually to retire. They're swimming. Oh yeah, a little bit's actually getting in the water and swimming, which is cool. You're learning. Big girl teaching her how to swim. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's Indy, it's beautiful property out here. I miss the days back when it was fully wooded out here. I personally don't really care for this golf course look, but that's just me personally, I guess. You know, it just takes even more effort, more time, more money to keep it to this golf course look all the time. So it's like a constant fucking mowing the yard all the time. Constantly mowing, constantly trimming trees, constantly, out here trimming bushes. It's like a never ending process. And I actually, see, all this used to be a pine forest back when I was a kid. And to come down here to the pond, because we used to have, we got an old pitcher pump out here. It hasn't worked in quite a few years. So, there's a leather flapper inside that needs to be replaced. And honestly, what I think, it needs a check valve right here so we can keep it primed all the time and be able to use it. But back when I was a kid, we used to have a pole barn right here, and a big fire pit, and we had a big cast iron sink that was right here next to this. So when we were out here fishing and stuff, we have somewhere to clean fish and stuff. That's what we used to do back in the day. And maybe one day we'll, probably do that again. I don't know, do something like that where we can utilize this again. But I personally, like I said, I think, this is all, it's not good for the environment. All this damn no trees, it's just it's that mentality of, of having lawns and concrete and all that other shit. If there is a such thing as climate change, this is exactly one of the things that actually contributes to it. Everybody wants to clear cut everything and nothing but grass, or end up putting a bunch of concrete, and that's what's contributing to climate change, if that's a real thing, which But that to me is just, quite honestly, in my opinion, like I said, is like, if trees are just planted, more trees are planted all the time to replace basically all this fucking grassland and concrete, it would reverse this idea of climate change. If that's like I said, I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying that it would be reversed. It's better for the environment anyway. There's just nothing out here for animals. We used to have a lot of armadillo back when I was a kid wandering around. I barely ever see any armadillo anymore. We used to have a lot of deer. I do see some deer, but it's just like it's not as much as it used to be. I used to see turkey out here all the time. I used to see 20 or 30 turkey out here roaming around. I just don't see it that much anymore. A lot of things like that, there's just nothing out here for the animals. There's nothing for them to bed down in, protected to bed down in. There's nothing really out here to eat. So me personally, I think it's just bad for the environment. It looks nice. Yeah. Woohoo. Yay. That's just my thing, man. Here, I'm going to try and keep up with Chad also. Yeah. Trees are the lungs of the planet. That's true. I agree. And, so, yeah, it's one of them things. But it's that mentality, man. My uncle's got the developer type mentality, because I mean, back when I was younger, when I was, I grew up in Orlando, and Orlando is it's just building everything, it's just destroying, in my opinion. This is what I hate about developers and this developer mentality. It's just, in my opinion, it's just destroying old Florida. Old Florida, which to me is extremely beautiful, is what attracted a lot of people to Florida. And then developers come in, they just clear cut everything, destroy old Florida, and turning into like housing developments and shit like that, and shopping malls and all that other kind of crap. And it's just destroying old Florida, in my opinion. I think we ought to ban developers. Because quite honestly, nobody really wants to live in a damn housing project or housing development or a fucking condominium, and all these other fucking stupid ass fucking apartment complexes and shit like that. Nobody really wants to live there, but that's what the developers are building, and that's what people have to offer. That's what's there to offer. So that's what people end up buying. But the developers don't give a shit about the environment. They want to make they're looking at their bottom line. They're looking at, building a bunch of apartments or housing developments or condominiums and shopping malls and all that other shit so they can make money. They don't give a shit about the environment. So, because I remember back in the day, you got all these big, huge oak trees with Spanish moss on them and palmetto bushes and all this other shit, and that to me is really extremely beautiful, and that's what's being destroyed by developers. And I can't stand it. Well, Grim, what's going on, man? Afternoon to you, sir. Or evening. Actually, what is it? It's evening over there. It's about what, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon over there. So afternoon, evening. But yeah, it's just one of them things. But so yeah, it's another one of those things. Now I figured out why the excavator's out here. So I'm gonna walk back to the house and get in the shade because I'm starting to sweat my ass off. It's hot as fuck out here. Yeah, it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's still morning time here. Yeah. And it's already freaking like 80, 82 degrees, something like that, 82 degrees Fahrenheit already. And it's supposed to get hotter, but it's also supposed to rain today. So it's like 100% humidity out here. So that's what's so funny too. I hear, I hear some of these people out there in the UK sitting there talking about a heat wave and at 82 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm like, God damn it. That ain't no damn heat wave. Yeah, I don't know what a heat wave is. Hell, just yesterday, it was 97 degrees Fahrenheit. Felt like 106 with about 90% humidity. Now that's hot, but that's normal. That's like, it's 80 some odd degrees, like on a all day type of stuff. That's like December. That's like December weather around here. Hey, people out there complaining about a damn heat wave in the UK, calling it 82 degrees a damn heat wave. You guys don't know shit about fucking hot. But I think that shit's funny. My cousin is at his place. Him and my other cousin, they just did this. They're gonna build like a little shed thing so they can pull the mower in here and stuff. But this is their little place that they're working on. And, so when they want to come out here and spend some time, they got somewhere to go, somewhere to sleep and bring the family and all that. Because technically, there's a lot of my family own property out here, but almost everybody's a damn tourist. Almost everybody. No, me and my uncle are the only ones that, at the moment. Until recently, my uncle's just moved out here recently, but me and him are the only ones that live out here permanently on these pieces of property. I got a bunch of other family that live around here too, but they've been living here all their lives. But most of the family that's got property out here are tourists. They only come out here, a few times a year, and spend some time. So they're trying to get some stuff set up to where, they got a place to bring the family and stuff and spend a week or a weekend or whatever, and then go back home. But that's how it's always been pretty much, though. I got a lot of family that own property around here, but they don't live here. They just visit. All right. Sit down. All right, a little bit. I don't want your hot breath all over me. All right, let me check out the. Yeah, this is not a heat wave. Yeah, I was complaining or whatever. Yeah, it's like it's funny, dude. I mean, there's a bunch of these people I pay attention to that are from the UK and all that stuff, and it's just so funny hearing them talking about a damn heat wave. I'm like, here, hold on. As a matter of fact, I'll even do a double check. Now this is in the shade, and I'll show you what the temperature is right now, according to this thing. And it says 83 degrees, which is about 30 degrees Celsius right now. 10 o'clock in the morning, 100% humidity. And this is not even the hottest time of the day. You know, you get around 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when it's the hottest part of the day. It'll probably get up in the 90s sometime today. But we're also expecting like a thunderstorm later on. So, you know, just hot and humid. I mean, I'm sitting here sweating my ass off right now. But, you know, that's Florida. You know, it's one of them things. And it is clearing up a little bit, though. I mean, you know, it was kind of like, uh, it was kind of hazy and it was cloud, it was like a haze. Now it's kind of got some blue sky up there right now. So, I mean, there are some patches where the damn sun is beaming straight down on top of you. And that is hot when you're sitting there. I didn't even, when I wasn't walking down there, I forgot my freaking hat too. So I'm just like, oh shit, sweating my ass off. Woo. And, but I hope everybody's doing okay out there. Everybody out here in the US and everybody out there in the UK. No. So maybe tomorrow, if they get out here and start working with that excavator, I might walk down there and do a live and show some of that work being done. But yeah, but it's good to get down there by the ponds every once in a while. The dogs, they love it. Plus, it cools them off. They can go out there and jump in the water for a little while and cools them off a little bit. Hellfire. Matter of fact, hold on. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get something real quick. America. That's right, America. Oh, yeah. America, y'all. America. Don't jump on me. You're wet and dirty, dog. Get out of here. Don't jump on me. You're wet and dirty. Get out of here. Go do something. Go out there. Get out there. Face it. Give me a ball or something. I'll go throw it for you. But you're wet and dirty. I don't want you jumping on me. That's right. America. That's the thing about out here, man. I got this. I got all this space right there. I got my own target, my own firing range right here in my back, right outside my back garden. Yep. Can't do that in the damn UK, can you? Whew. It is fucking hot out here. Hopefully, I got this damn phone in the shade. Hopefully, it won't overheat being out here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go in the house where it's got air conditioning and shit like that, and fucking keep this phone cool. Because I mean, out here in this damn heat, the phone will overheat on me, especially using StreamYard. So I mean, what are they chasing? Squirrel. Squirrel. Get it. Go get him. Get him. Go get this squirrel. Go get it. Go get it. Oh, hellfire. I don't know if I can zoom in. No. I was thinking I can zoom in on this damn thing, but I can't when on StreamYard won't let me zoom in camera in at all. That's the other reason why, when I want to do some nighttime stuff, man, looking up at the sky, some of those things moving around up there in the sky, I can't do a live stream doing it because I can't zoom in on a live stream. And so the only way I can get images of any of those things that are moving around up there in the sky, up there, I really can't explain exactly where they are. I got to do it on a regular, like, static video because I can zoom in, and I got a setting to where it's like low light setting and all that stuff. So I can do some of those nighttime videos. Otherwise, I'd do a live stream if I could do all that. If I can get low light and zoom in and all that stuff, it would be kind of neat, because I'm telling you, man, there's some things I see them, like, I don't know, around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there. I'm always catching these little dots of light traveling across the sky. And without sounding like some kind of nutcase thinking that they're damn UFOs or whatever, I mean, from all I know, they're probably just damn satellites I'm looking at. I don't know. They're definitely not airplanes. They're definitely nothing like that. They're nothing like that because they're way too high in elevation and they don't make any sounds and they're moving really fast, whatever they are. But I don't know what they are. Fucking got a damn couple of damn fleas jumping off of my dog onto me, driving me nuts. Fucking fleas. Fucking fleas suck. Yeah, I can hear some rumbling in the background out there, so I don't know when it's going to start raining. It's supposed to start raining sometime this afternoon. Some thunderstorms and shit. You know, if some lightning starts popping up real close and stuff, maybe I can get another video of some lightning. You know, because right here in the Panhandle of Florida, this is actually there's more lightning strikes here in the Panhandle of Florida than anywhere in the world. It's like the lightning capital of the world right here. So I mean, you know, and we get just regular lightning when thunder and all that stuff, and then there's stuff that we call heat lightning. And I'm not exactly sure what heat lightning is, but it's definitely it's lightning, but it doesn't create thunder. So I'm not exactly sure. I mean, you know, I'm sure there's some kind of big brain dude out there or somebody out there with a big brain that can sit there and spit off some kind of scientific fucking shit about what heat lightning is and why it doesn't make any thunder. I don't know. It's always perplexed me all my life. You're not going to give it to me? I'll throw it again if you want. Let me see it. See that ball. Let me see that ball. Let me see that ball. No? You don't want me to throw it? That ball. Let me see it. What's that? You stinker. You're not going to let me throw that ball? Huh? You're not going to let me throw that ball? Let me see that ball. Let me see that ball. Let me see that ball. Oh, let me see that ball. I'm not sure if I'm boring everybody out there because I can see the numbers dwindling. I don't know. If you guys got something to say or anything to talk about, put it in the chat. Because I'm thinking about going inside and sitting in the damn air conditioner. I'm sitting here sweating my ass off. I think I'm going to go inside and sit in the air conditioning. And I don't know. Oh, oh gosh, that feels so good. Holy crap. Huh. Uh, let's see here. I'm gonna turn the camera off and put my phone down. And stay here so I can see the chat real good and sit in the air conditioning. Sweat my ass off, and I'm gonna sit in the. That's the only thing, man. I gotta dry off for a second. I'm not sitting down in a damn chair and sweating. And, so I can sit here and watch the chat pretty good. And for you new people out there, like I said, there's a guy. I guess I'm assuming it's a guy, but I had a comment the other day. Um, on one of my oh, what's up, Deb? I didn't even see you in there. John Tracy, good to see you. Let's see here, who else is in there? I had somebody pop into one of my comment sections on one of the memes I put out on my community tab or whatever. And you know, a lot of times I put these memes on there. It may or may not be something I agree with or whatever, but I put them on there. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'll be right back. Hold that thought. I'll be right back. All right. I post these memes every so often. All right. And because I, you know, like I said, I may or may not agree with the meme itself, but a lot of times I post memes or videos of things on my community tab to invoke conversation or thought, you know, conversation, you know, stuff like that. And and somebody came in to one of the comments in the comment section, a new person evidently, because I mean, you know, they're not somebody I recognize, but you know, they have this mentality of, you know, judging a book by its cover, kind of like they're judging my channel by the channel name, you know, because my channel name has got the word anarchy in it. There are some people that straight off assume that my channel is anarchy or anarchistic uh, um, focused, which that's not the case. My channel is not focused on anarchism or anarchy. I mean, I try to do what I can in my own life to live as an anarchist or live in anarchy, but the world around me is not living in anarchy or in an anarchist type of a viewpoint or mentality. So, so sometimes, some of my, little memes or my little quotes or whatever, sometimes it goes totally against what they think the meaning or the definition or what true anarchy is. And they'll assume that, because the word anarchy is in the name of my channel, that it's completely focused on that. And when they see something that in their mind contradicts what true anarchy is, they assume right off the bat that I'm not an anarchist or I don't believe in anarchy. I'm a statist and all this other shit, which is just completely false. And like I said, it's just like, it's that judging a book by its cover type of thing. They're judging my channel by the channel name. And most people, especially the new people, they don't know me. They don't know the history, my history, and they don't know where Anarchy Television came from and where it started. All right. Anarchy Television started back in like the mid 90s. I mean, not the YouTube channel, but the name Anarchy Television started back in the mid 90s. Back in the day when I was younger, I used to be a part of a club, a nightclub, and we used to feature like heavy metal bands and punk bands and shit like that. And we used to every time we had a band come in, we would go and interview them. So we'd be standing there with like a VHS camcorder, doing like an interview with the band members and stuff like that. And we called that Anarchy Television. For me, that's where it all started. And I've kept the name, and that's where the name came from, and that's the reason why I called my channel Anarchy Television, because I'm just, Anarchy Television is the best television there is, in my opinion. So, but so that's like, the where it started and where it came from. And if somebody, especially if they're new, and I've had Anarchy Television channel, probably was it 2016 or something like that. But I've been on YouTube since like 2014 or something. But I think I've had Anarchy Television since 2016, I think, if I remember correctly. And especially if you go back into the past of the videos that I put a shitload of videos up, and I've had quite a few of them deleted by YouTube also. But if you go back into the past, my videos, it was all radio stuff. My CB handle, because I've been on a CB since I was 14 years old. I'm 50 years old now. And my CB handle is 1122 Wingnut Radio. That's my CB handle. So that's like been my nickname for a long time. Is Wingnut. That's been my nickname for a long time. So my nickname or my name is Wingnut. That's what, my name is not Anarchy Television. That's just the name of my YouTube channel. So for the people that do know me, or the people that don't know me, for your information, my name is Wingnut. That's, That's what I'll answer to. Anarchy Television is just a YouTube channel. It's just another medium, kind of like a CB radio, in my opinion. Um, and let's see here. It's just one of them things. Some people, they they judge a book by their cover, and I don't understand why people do that. I don't do that personally. I don't judge people, you know, by the cover. I don't judge people by, you know, um, you know, what their name is, and or that first few seconds that I meet them or something like. I can tell a lot about a person in the first few seconds. I can tell. I used to be a bouncer at a bar. I've been a bouncer at like 3 different bars down here on the beach, and I have this really, I used to travel a lot. I was homeless for like 10 years, so I've been all over the country and stuff. And one of my favorite hobbies is to watch people, because you learn a lot about people or humans or just generally by sitting back and watching. And when I used to be a bouncer, I can tell a lot about a person just by watching them walk in the door. I don't judge them by that, but I can tell a lot about them just by watching them walk in that door. You know what I mean? But you really don't know anything about anybody until you get to know them. Spend some time talking to them, whatever, that kind of thing. And in this digital age with all the social media and stuff, you know, um, a lot of times this face to face type, stuff. It's really not that common. I mean, it is, but I mean, it's not as common as it used to be back when I was a kid, before the internet, before cell phones and all that stuff. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that hide behind their keyboard, and like I said, I just like I can just relate it to radio. A lot of people do the same thing on radio. You know what I mean? They you know they hide behind their microphone, you know, and they they think they're untouchable. They think they can say whatever they want to say, and plus all this stuff because you're not sitting face to face with them. I think it's unfortunate. There's a lot of people out there that talk a lot of shit, and quite honestly, they do that because they think they're anonymous. They think they're untouchable and all this other stuff, hiding behind their microphone, hiding behind their keyboard, that kind of stuff. Because I know damn well a lot of these people out there that talk a lot of shit wouldn't talk that shit face to face with whoever they're talking shit to. I know damn well a lot of people wouldn't. They wouldn't dare say some of the things that they say out here on social media, which, CB radio to me is the same thing. CB radio or radio in general, it's the original social network, in my opinion. And they wouldn't dare talk the type of shit that they talk, if they were face to face. What's up, Deb? Yeah. And and I hear a lot of this stuff about, when it comes down to, they put all that mask on or whatever, that that front, sometimes a lot of people are playing to the camera, you know what I mean? And, you know, uh, it's like an alter ego, um, you know, that's one of the things about me. Even though you guys might not see my face, which I take uh, great pride in my privacy. So I don't really show my face on the internet, which, you know, if you search hard enough, you can probably find my face somewhere out there. I mean, you know, I know my face is out there on the internet, but I do what I can to keep that private. You know what I mean? And my private life private. You know, because everybody does have like three lives. They've got the public life, they got the private life, and then they've got the secret life. And the private life and the secret life, I like to keep it private and secret, you know. And the public life, that's for everybody to enjoy. But the thing is, when it comes down to me, I'm just going to be straight up with you guys out there. What you get from me out here, like on my channel or out on the internet, you know, when you see me out here on YouTube and stuff like that, what you get is what you're going to get if you were sitting here next to me face to face. I'm the same person. I'm not a different person out here on YouTube versus what you would see you were sitting here next to me face to face. Um, and I appreciate genuine people like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that, you know, and it's unfortunate too because it's just, and I'm, you know, I hate to say it, but it's just like it's on the younger generation that's grown up with the internet all their lives. It seems like um, that genuineness is dwindling. You know, was it people? You've always been one of the most real people I know. Good decisions make good outcomes. I know, Deb. Yeah, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because you know, I find that unfortunate. Like I said, around especially the younger generation, that's always had the internet all their lives and all that stuff. That you know, that realness, that genuine um, um, type of stuff. It's dwindling. It sucks. And but I do appreciate, you know, people that are real and people that that are genuine. And I like to surround myself with those type of people. So this person that made that comment, um, yeah, right on, Indy. This person, whoever it was, that made that comment on that little meme. Like I said, you know, it's not a name that I recognize, you know, and I'm all over the YouTube. So I mean, you know, it's not a name that I recognize. So I'm not exactly sure how they found my channel, but you know, they just assumed right off the bat that because my channel name has the word anarchy in it, they assumed that my channel is anarchy focused, um, which is just not it. I've never claimed that to be, and I've never said that to be, and all this other stuff. So it's unfortunate. Some people, they just, you know, they judge a book by its cover, and that's what this person did. They judged me by the name of my channel, and like I said, I mean, you know, I throw memes and share videos on my community tab because, like I said, I mean, there's things out there that I find interesting. I may or may not agree with it, but I find it interesting or funny or something like that. And I put it on my community tab just because I think other people might find it interesting, funny, or thought provoking. And like I said, I may or may not agree with it. You know, whatever. But um, This person just happened to take it as like, well, oh my God, you put this meme up there, you must be a statist, not an anarchist. And I was like, who the fuck you fucking don't know shit. Does it say? Is it? Yeah, Deb. I try to be upfront. I mean, seriously. You know what I mean? And I'm of X generation, so I can be very blunt, very straightforward. Some people just really don't know how to take that. You know what I mean? They don't really. They don't. They don't. They can't. They get offended very easily. Fuck that guy. Internet's full of retards. You ain't even right. You ain't even. You ain't even lying there, Huckleberry. Um, what's going on, Huckleberry? Yeah, I mean, and that's just the thing too. Is like some people they expect everybody to just kind of walk around on eggshells around them and stuff because their feelings and stuff, and all this other shit. And I'm just like I said, I'm X generation. I don't give a fuck. I mean, fuck your feelings. That's how I see it. Fuck your feelings. I don't care if you get offended or not. You know, but I also come, from that generation of tough love. Sometimes I might love you, and I might say something that might be hurtful, but it's probably most likely, or it's probably coming from a place of love. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that in return. I mean, I have to admit, I mean, there are some things that some people that I do care about have said to me, as like a third party kind of looking in, um, about me and my life and my choices and stuff like that, that, you know, um, I might not like to hear, but I know it's coming from a place they care for me, or they give a shit. And, you know, and, like I said, I might not like hearing it, but if I sit down and actually get past that, getting it all in my feels type of bullshit, if I get past that, I realize, they may be right. And I mean, they're probably right in some aspects. And, um, but, sometimes it takes that other person, like, looking from the outside in, to point that shit out. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it could be helpful if you can get past your feels type of shit. If you can get past that, it could be helpful, and the opportunity to grow. You know, I there's so much going on in the world right now, and there's so many people out there that are just stuck in stuck in their feels, and they can't get out of that. You know, and then and can't see the truth and all this other shit, and it's unfortunate. I was listening to a live stream, was it yesterday, and they were talking about an important subject, like water, water rights, and how some of these, a lot of big corporations and government want to control water, um, and stuff like that. There's some of these people out there that are not even like, they're probably in their early 20s or even younger, and they're sitting there with this, they haven't even been alive long enough to have enough life experiences to have um, a constructive debate And then on top of that, they don't know anything about history. You know what I mean? There's some of these people out there actually advocating like socialism and communism when it comes down to water. You know, where, you know, water in this nation should be nationalized, or corporations should have full control over it, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, you kids don't know shit about what the fuck you're talking about. You know what I mean? But they'll sit there and yell and scream and act like a goddamn idiot, all in their fields and stuff like that, you know, thinking that they're right. But like I said, they haven't even been alive on this fucking planet long enough to have any life experience to understand shit. Yeah, kind of like the Nestle thing, Huckleberry. You know, I was talking about I was talking about Gates earlier because I was sitting there. You know, I was walking around earlier out here on the property, and how, you know, it might look nice, but it's all like this golf course type look. You know, there's hardly any trees and stuff like that, and you know, and I remember Gates was talking about, you know, somebody asked him, it's like, well, you know, if this climate change is real, why don't we just plant more trees? That would reverse climate change. And Gates is like, that's just crap. We don't need trees. You know, I'm sitting there thinking, you fucking evil bastard. And then I start hearing like the Nestle guy, which I don't think he's the CEO anymore. I think used to be the CEO of Nestle. I don't know. But he was talking about how water is not like a human necessity or resource, you know what I mean? And it should be controlled by, you know, like corporations or governments and stuff like that. And, you know, I think about like the old saying, it's like, you know, you control the water and the food, you control the people. And that's just fucking communism. And these kids are actually advocating for this, which they don't know history. They evidently don't know shit about history. And like I said, they haven't been alive long enough to even, you know, have any life experience at all. And they're sitting there advocating for like socialism and communism. Agent X, good morning, girl. Good to see you out there. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, and I'm just kind of doing one of those spur of the moment pop up type lives. A couple other people were doing live streams earlier and they shut it down. And I was like, got bored. I was like, well, I'm going to pop up one anyway and just see if anybody else pops in there and stuff like that, and try and keep the conversation going here in the chat and all that stuff. But yeah, Huckleberry, they are villains. They are the evil villains of the planet. And it just drives me nuts that, you know, that some of these young kids are actually advocating for these evil people to control our lives. And they have no idea what they're asking for. You know, it's like, you know, it's kind of like that old thing. It's like, be careful what you wish for type of scenario. And they have no idea what the fuck they're wishing for. They have no fucking clue. And then, you know, you get people like me, you know, of that generation where, you know, I'm really blunt and straightforward about a lot of stuff, and these young kids that really get all caught up in their fields and shit, and they can't they get all offended and hurt, you know, when I start, you know, calling them out on this shit, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, you know, and they just get all bent out of shape, and they just go fucking bat shit crazy, in my opinion. And but I was watching another live stream of somebody I know this morning, and they were talking about like Chat GPT and, you know, like Grok, you know, all this new levels of Grok, all this new AI language models type shit. And I didn't read all of it, but I asked them to ask Chat GPT. What's up, Tate? I asked them to ask Chat GPT what would its answer be to eliminating communism from America, and within 10 seconds, it come up with a like a 5-point plan on on how to do that. One of them is to get back in control of the school systems and the education system. That's one of them. And there was a couple other different points. I can't remember exactly what it was, but you know, within 10 seconds, it comes up with a like a 5-point plan and how we can basically eliminate the mentality of democracy, socialism, Marxism, communism from this fucking nation. Period. And it wouldn't happen overnight because we didn't get to where we are overnight. So we wouldn't be able to change it overnight. But using I think this is like the rudimentary um, um, version of ChatGPT. It only took it 10 seconds to come up with a 5-point plan. And, honestly, I mean, in some aspects, I mean, I can't, like I said, I can't remember each one of them, but like I said, one of them was to basically take back our educational system, our school system, and stuff like that, because that's how the younger generation are getting indoctrinated into this mentality of, democracy, socialism, Marxism, and communism, and stuff like that. And that's how they're getting indoctrinated, and they're being spoon fed this shit. Um, and making them believe this is the best thing since sliced bread. And they're believing this shit, not knowing history. Because I'm gonna tell you something, man. Those isms have killed more people in this world than anything else. Anything else, you know, democracy, socialism, Marxism, Leninism, communism has killed more people on this planet than anything else. But yet these fucking little youngsters don't know what the fuck they don't know history. Garrett, what's up? Um Hulkster. What are you talking about, Hulkster? Hulk Hogan? What are you talking about, Garrett? Hulkster. What are you talking about, Garrett? Hulk Hogan died? No shit. Fucking hey. See, that's the thing too, man. A lot of these people, I mean, even my dad's side of the family, a lot of my family, they've been dying around 76, 75, around that time. And I'm 50. So if I'm lucky, I've got 20 years left because everybody's dropping around 70 something years old. Yeah, I mean, yeah, fucking just 2 days ago, fucking Ozzy Osbourne died, 75, 76 years old, something like that. Back when Randy Rhodes died, years ago. I mean, a long time ago, quite a couple of decades back. Um, I actually had a bunch of people believing that Ozzy Osbourne died in that plane crash with Randy Rhodes. I'm serious. I had people believing that shit. It's so funny. I even had people believing it so well they were actually repeating the story to other people. Like, yeah, man, I saw it on the news and everything. They didn't see shit. They just heard it from me. Yeah, so I don't know. Hulk Hogan, huh? Yep. It's just one of the things. Like, if I'm lucky, um, yeah, 76. Damn. See, yeah, this thing. It's like, my dad died at, I think he was 76 years old, something like that. I think 75, 76 years old. I can't remember exactly. It was around that. Um, Quite a few people in my family died around that age. So if I'm lucky, if, um, I've got about 20 years left, 20, 25 years left. That's when everybody tends to kick the bucket around that age group. So, yep. Well, I was actually looking at some of the old TV show, The Osbournes. You know, it's so funny too, man. And it's like, I start thinking about like, Ozzy's kids and stuff back when they were doing that, and that was like, I think they were like one of the first like reality TV shows where like a family had like camera crews in their house recording them all the time and stuff. I think they were the first to even have shit like that. But I think it was kind of funny, you got like Jack Osborne and all them, all the other kids and stuff living in the house and stuff, you know, uh, to, to everybody else around the world, Ozzy was Ozzy, you know, and to like all the kids in the house in that show, they were just like, yeah, that's just like, that's my annoying dad. You know what I mean? That fuck, you know, yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Anybody can die at any time. And I've said this before, and I said it, I said it even, I tried to say it even more when my dad passed away. Um, cause it's been, a little over a year now since he passed away. And I'm telling you, everybody out there, um, anybody can die at any time. So, for the ones that you love, tell them that you love them now, because you never know when the last time could be. And I'm lucky. I mean, it probably would have really screwed with my head if it had been different. Um, but the last conversation that I had with my dad was not an argument, and I'm glad for that. You know what I'm saying? Because we used to argue a lot, and I miss that. I actually kind of miss that about being able to have an argument with my dad. Because we would butt heads about a lot of different subjects and stuff like that. And now that he's gone, I actually kind of miss those moments. Where we can sit there, and even though it was a heated debate or argument or whatever, and we'd probably yell at each other and all this other shit. you know um but now that he's gone, I actually do kind of miss that. I actually kind of miss being able to have that argument with my dad. But like I said, I'm lucky. um the last conversation, which was about, I think it was like 3 or 4 days right before he passed away, we talked on the phone, and it was not an argument. And I'm glad for that. So, for any of y'all out there, um, you know, tell your loved ones that you love them, and make sure they know it. And because, like I said, it would have really fucked my head up if that was my last conversation with my dad, was a heated argument where we were yelling at each other and, you know, um, you know, and said things that we didn't really, that really, this is one of I'm just glad that we didn't have that as our last conversation. So, you know, anybody can die at any time. It's all from Newcastle. What's going on? What does that say? Yeah. I haven't been watching the news or anything like that, so I didn't really realize it, so that's kind of, back in the day when he used to do a lot of wrestling stuff, I never saw him, but, um, I never really got into wrestling all that much. Actually, I was a manager for a wrestler at one moment in time for a very short period of time. Um, but I did go to one WWE match one time when Hacksaw Jim Duggan back in the day, and Andre the Giant back in the day. I saw them both live, and that was a long fucking time ago. I can't even remember Huckleberry, the guy's name. I cannot remember. I was sitting here trying to remember. I cannot remember the damn dude's name. But I didn't really do a whole lot. I was just, you know, hell, but we had a couple of girls that did more than I did because they were, they walked around, looked pretty. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was back in the day when I I found out the truth. Because before then I really didn't know that much about wrestling. But when I started managing that one dude, that's when I started really realizing how fake most of that fucking wrestling shit is. I'm telling you, man. It's all a show. It's basically whoever the crowd fucking goes for the most is the ones that are going to get most of the attention. It's probably going to be the one that wins and all that sort of shit. It's all most of that shit. Well, I mean, it probably still is, but especially back in the day, it was all for show. It was basically bullshit. I mean, you know, that was wrestling. That was like, that wasn't even real like wrestling, like high school wrestling. I mean, hell, if I was going to I'd like watching MMA fights and stuff like that because I mean, that's for real shit. I mean, that's not that's not for show. They're not out there doing it for show. They're actually trying to beat the shit out of each other. You know what I mean? But this is back in the day when like Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Roddy Ryder Piper, fucking Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, all those guys back in the day. That was all just fucking a big circus show. But I wasn't, like I said, Huckleberry, I wasn't really into it either. I just happened to step into that for a very short period of time in my life, and because I had an opportunity, I took it. I went to about 3 different matches. I think that was about all I did. I went to 3 different matches, and that was it. And I don't even think that guy went very far when it comes down to the wrestling. I don't think he really did very much. He wasn't all that great either. But God, I cannot remember that dude's name. That was back when I was like 18, 19, 20 years old, something like that. Something like that. It was fun. You know, most of the time I just basically sat in the damn, watched the match and hung out with the two. There was two girls that, that were kind of like, a lot of times they were like, what they call the ring girls, you know, all they did is just pretty much just look pretty. And I just basically sat there with the two girls most of the time. That was basically my my whole thing, my whole shtick. But I don't know. Like I said, I mean, anybody could die at any time. And, I smoke a lot when it comes down to these cigarettes and tobacco and all that stuff. So, I mean, if I'm lucky, because I'm 50, I'm 50 now. If I'm lucky, you know, I've got about 20, 25 years left. If nothing else happens in between then, you know what I mean? Because it seems like everybody tends to pass away around 70, 75 years old, 76 years old, something like that. Um, it doesn't seem like a lot of people live past that. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people out there that do live, you know, to the age of 80 or above or whatever, but it's not a common thing. It just seems like the common, well, I'll say this for my family and a lot of people that I do know that have passed away, it has been around those ages, around 70 to 76, 77, something like that. Somewhere around there, is when I say a majority of people end up passing away if they live a full life type of thing. Holly Skunk, a couple of new people in there. I mean, I don't recognize um Holly Skunk. I don't recognize a couple of people. Good to see you guys in there. I mean, some new people in there. That's good to see. Hook, I'm telling you, man, I've been through a lot in my life and I didn't think I'd make it this long either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been stabbed. I've had guns pulled out on me. I've been in about 5 different wrecks in my life. Um, there's been plenty of times in my life where if things had been just a slightly different, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. For real. So there has been quite a few times in my life where I was like, I didn't think I was going to make it this long. So, it's one of them things. Oh, Tate, yeah. See you later, Tate. Get back. Keep keep that thing in between the ditches, as they say. Debs, I'm serious, man. I mean, and quite honestly, the last wreck I was in was a motorcycle wreck. I T-boned a truck. Basically, tried to take the side of the truck out with my face. Um, I ain't been quite the same since then. Um, but I've been into three vehicle wrecks before and a motorcycle wreck, and I've been shot at. I've had guns pulled on me a couple of times. Also, I've been stabbed. I've been in a lot of different really seriously dangerous situations in my life. And um, like I said, if things had been just slightly different, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all right now. So for some reason, I'm still here. You know, you know, on you know on that biblical belief system. For some reason, you know, the one upstairs has got a plan for me, and I'm still it's not my time yet. For some reason, I'm still here. You know, maybe it's just little things like this right here. Maybe I'm meant to sit here and talk with y'all and hang out with y'all. Um, our paths were meant to cross for some reason, you know, because I've wondered things like that, you know. I've wondered, it's like, what is exactly, and what exactly is my legacy that I leave behind for everybody after I do pass away, you know? And it's quite possibly some of the connections that I've made right here, for instance, some of the connections with some of y'all that I've known for quite a long time now. Some of y'all in the chat, I've known you guys for years. It's quite honestly, maybe just the connection and the conversations that we've had is part of that legacy that I'll leave behind if I was to pass away today, for instance. If I was to pass away today, that that connection, those conversations, those times that we spent together, quite possibly is my legacy that I leave behind. Because I don't have kids. I mean, I had a daughter when I was 16, but she went up for adoption. So I don't really have kids. And I've never been married. I don't plan on ever being married. Um, yeah, Huckleberry. I'm alive to see a lot of stuff happen. I would love to see a lot of shit happen in my lifetime, and I hope I do get to see it before I pass away. Because I mean, I've thought about that when it comes down to a lot of stuff that's going on. Um, I would like to know in my I would like to know in my soul that that um, like for instance on the political scenario, because I mean honestly, politics and religion, or politics and and religious dogma, is what really is destroying this planet. That's how I see it. You know what I mean? Political and religious dogma is what's really fucking everything up, in my opinion. And I would like to know deep down in my soul, after I pass away or before I pass away, um, seeing things getting corrected and going in the right direction. Because I'm going to tell you, Strictly Cycling, good to see you out there. Man, another new name in there. That's good to see. I think I'm subscribed to you, Strictly Cycling. Can't remember. I'm subscribed to so many damn people out there. I can't remember all the people. I'm probably subscribed to like 200, 300 people or something like that. I don't know. But I try to keep up with everybody. But yeah, I mean, I would like to be able to see um, the wrongs that are happening in our world, that has been happening for literally thousands of years, being corrected, or at least on their way to being corrected. I mean, I know I'm not going to see in my lifetime um, things being set right. I at least want to be able to see in my lifetime the beginning of that, and knowing that after I pass away, that things will eventually will be getting better, because it's on that trajectory in a sense. And because I would hate to just pass away, and then and all the generations that are to come after I'm gone, get worse and worse and worse. Because I mean, seriously, I mean, you got this worldwide communism type of mentality that's trying to suck up the whole goddamn world up and make the entire world live under communism, basically. You know, because I mean, honestly, I mean, even this corporation posing as the government here in America is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more corrupt and more corrupt and more corrupt. And it seems like that there is no way out. And in some ways, that's what they want us all to believe and feel, that there is no way out, and this is just the way it is, and we should just accept being slaves to these fuckers. That's what they want us all to believe and feel, and stuff like that. And I do not, in my gut, I do not see that as being something I want for future, for the future to be. So I mean, but we all got to just lit. We gotta at least, you know, I don't know. And like I said, I mean, I don't focus my channel because it has the word anarchy in it. I don't focus my channel on anarchy and anarchism, but I do believe that is the right way to go. I do think I do think that is the right way to go, because anarchy is true freedom. Anything opposite of anarchy is slavery. And that is what the world has been for thousands of years, has been the opposite of anarchy, which has been slavery for majority of people on this planet. In one way or another. In one way or another, it's been slavery for the majority of people on this planet. Because I mean, I said this once before. It's like, you know, empires were run by emperors back in the day, and then it turned into where there kingdoms run by kings. Now we've got countries run by cunts, and that's got to change. And I feel it deep in my gut that it will, because I feel it deep in my gut that they will, they will, try to, you know, live by their code, order out of chaos. And they will try to, bring the chaos because they feel like they can bring order out of that chaos. And I feel deep in my gut that when they do bring that chaos, it's actually going to turn on them. It's going to swallow them up. It's going to envelop them and destroy them. And I sincerely hope that I'm alive to see at least the beginning of that. If that is, but even then, it's like, who in the hell, you talk about Obama, like you were talking about Huckleberry, you talk about Obama or even Hillary and all these other fucking assholes out there around the world, like, Gates and all these other assholes around the fucking world that, you got basically the true enemies of the planet right now. You got the Bilderberg group, you got the Trilateral Commission, you got the Club of Rome, you got the United Nations, you got the was it the Institute of Foreign Relations, the um, um, was it Institute of International Affairs or some shit like that. These are the true fucking enemies of the fucking world right now. They're the ones that want to enslave everybody, depopulate the fucking planet, enslave what's left over, commoditize or tokenize every fucking living thing on this. Yeah, the WEF, the WHO, um, the Five Eyes. These are just all the people that are involved in that shit are the ones that are the evil ones that are thinking that they are the masters of the fucking universe and we're all its slaves. And I would love to be able to see in my lifetime at least the beginning of their downfall. All the top 11 families of the fucking world, you know what I mean? All of them, because quite honestly, in my opinion, the way I see it, all the ones out there that want depopulation on this planet, I think they need to start with themselves. I think it would be a great start if they would just commit suicide, because that would be a great start on depopulation. For all the ones that want depopulation, commit suicide. That would be a good start. You know what I'm saying? All these people that want eugenics and transhumanism and all that shit, yeah, I think they all should just commit suicide and kill off the next 3 generations of their family, and that would be like a good start of depopulation. If they actually took their own lives, that would be a great start. And then so we would be left out of their fucking bullshit. But that's just me wishing for them to do the right thing, because that would be the right thing to do. You want depopulation? Fine. Kill yourself. Fucking commit suicide. That would be a good start on depopulation if that's what you want. Oh, it just started raining. Right on time. I knew it was going to start around noon, and it's now 11:25, and just started raining. Yep. Because I mean, these figures out there that that want to sit there and control the water, control the food, tokenize every living fucking thing on this planet, every bush, every fucking tree, every animal, every insect, every fucking human, and tokenize it to where they can actually make money off of it. Those are definitely evil people, in my opinion. There is a part of me, it's like, sit there, they try to keep us all in fear, of some kind of thing when it comes down to like, oh, World War III and all this other shit. I'm like, well, quit fucking threatening. Bring it the fuck on. Bring it the fuck on, because I dare you motherfuckers to do this shit. That's how I see it. I'm like, I'm not scared of that shit. Bring it the fuck on. You want World War III? Bring it the fuck on, because you're not going to fucking survive it. Because you start that shit, by God, all bets are off, boy. And I know a lot of people, is if you start that shit, and I know a lot of people, when they get to the point where they've got nothing left to lose, those motherfuckers that start that shit will be hunted down. It doesn't matter what rock you crawl under, doesn't matter what fucking bunker you hide in, doesn't matter what cave you fucking go into, doesn't matter if you fly off into another rock in space somewhere. We will fucking hunt your ass down. You start this shit, we will fucking finish it. So bring it the fuck on. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care if they got fucking what they if nuclear weapons are real. I don't even give a flying fuck if they even do that shit, because that will not stop us. That's how I see it. Bring it the fuck on. You know? So I don't live in fear of that stuff. What I fear is the ones that will comply and help enforce these evil fuckers' will. That's what I am concerned about. You know? Strictly cycling. You talk about the Second Amendment. Yes, we do have the Second Amendment, but it doesn't mean shit if we're not willing to use it, and it doesn't mean shit if we're not willing to go to that extreme. If we're not willing to actually exercise and use that natural right that is supposed to be protected, that was endowed to us by the Creator itself for self-defense, in a sense. Because the whole reason the Second Amendment was actually penned on paper is to be ensured and protected by the government, so we have the means to defend ourselves from the very government that may go tyrannical. And all governments, like I said, it started back in empires and then kingdoms and now governments, they all go tyrannical eventually. But if we're not willing to go to that extreme, it doesn't mean shit. It really doesn't. It doesn't mean shit. But that's the thing. When it comes down to the difference between and there's a guy I know. He said this one time, and I kind of agree with him. The difference between, let's say, okay, the difference between me and government is that government is willing to kill me, murder me, because for its beliefs. Because government is a religion, all right, and government is willing to murder me for its beliefs. But I'm not really willing to murder them for mine. But if we were willing to use any means necessary to defend our lives and our property and our loved ones from government, that's where it comes down to, is if we as individuals on a massive scale are willing to not necessarily murder, but to, because self-defense can be very violent, and violence can be used for good. So violence is a necessary thing, and it can be the answer. Strictly cycling, just to throw that out there. Self-defense can be very violent, and violence can be used for good. And if we are willing to use any means of violence to protect ourselves and defend ourselves from this shit, we might have a chance. But over thousands of years, we've all been domesticated into this mentality of nothing but docile little slaves that are willing to suffer as long as the suffering is sufferable. Well, and that's a problem when it comes down to uniting together. The only thing is like the communist mentality or the socialist mentality, the Marxist, Leninist, democracy type mentality has been ingrained into our brains for thousands of years in one way or another. Um, I have to give it to them. They've got the unity. I have to give it to them on that end of it, on that aspect. They've got the numbers worldwide. And majority of people are willing to comply and enforce this mentality. It's not the ones that are actually wanting to implement this onto the world that I fear. It's the ones that are willing to comply and the ones that are willing to enforce their will onto others. The evil ones will, the powers that should not be their will onto others. Because these fuckers these powers that should not be, they have no teeth. They have nothing if no one is willing to enforce it and comply with it. It really just comes down to we have to not comply and not enforce their will because they can't do shit about it if nobody is willing to do that for them. Because I can relate it back to, the old slave plantations. The slave masters really couldn't do shit. They really couldn't do anything if they didn't have people that are willing to comply, which is the slaves, and people to enforce it, which they did have slaves that carried a whip. So if there wasn't slaves to enforce it and slaves to comply, these masters, these fucking powers that should not be, really couldn't do shit about it. They couldn't enforce their will on anybody themselves. Do you think these fucking these assholes that want to be masters of the fucking world really could actually do any of this shit? They didn't have anybody fighting their wars for them, and going around and you know, kind of like that little old lady that was sitting there calling the cops because somebody wasn't wearing a mask back in the day when all the fucking bullshit with the CV-19 shit was going on. If they didn't have little fuckers like that around, they have no teeth. Democracy is not, and democracy shouldn't be anywhere near America. Democracy is not an American value. Democracy the word democracy doesn't even appear anywhere in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. Democracy leads to socialism. Socialism leads to Marxism, Leninism, and communism. Democracy is not a part of American values. So fuck democracy. Democracy is mob rule. That's not what America is. But they want that because they want to turn America into a communist type of a nation. And that is the stepping stone to communism. It's democracy. If you were to look at like a linear line, you got the right wing, the left wing, which is actually both wings of the same bird of prey, because quite honestly, it doesn't matter. The right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter. Government as a whole, altogether, is the enemy of the people because government, no matter who is in charge, doesn't matter. Right wing, left wing, doesn't matter, is always the aggressor and it is always the problem. Government is never the solution. It's never been the solution. It's always been the solution for the ones that want to be your master and wants to be your ruler. But it's never been the solution for the people. It's always been the aggressor. It's always been the problem. And it doesn't matter. I mean, this right wing, left wing bullshit, it's all bullshit. It doesn't matter if master, if the master of the slave plantation or his cousin, it doesn't matter if him or his cousin were running the plantation. You're still a slave on the plantation. You have to burn this fucking plantation to the ground and be free people. Burn the idea of this master slave mentality. Burn it to the fucking ground. That's why I advocate for anarchism. Anarchism is the only true freedom, because that's the exact opposite of slavery. But we've been living in the opposite of anarchy for over 2,000 years, in one way or another. So, majority of people have never been, and even today, majority of people for 2,000 years have never been free. The only ones that have been free are the ones, or the powers that should not be. Those are the only ones that have true freedom. But even then, the powers that should not be, even them answer to someone else. I mean, so they're technically not truly free if I was to sit here and really think about it, because they all still answer to someone else. It's the tippy top, tippy top, tippy top, tippy top. The ones that are at the tippy top of that pyramidal structure are the only ones that really have true freedom. And everything else below it is a slave. So the goal, in my mind, which I'll never see in my lifetime, but the true goal is true freedom for everyone to be on that tippy top. And there is no pyramidal structure. Everyone is the master of their own universe. Everyone is their own, their own master, their own ruler over themselves. So, just one of them things, man. People need to start looking through the lenses of freedom and igniting that brush fire of freedom in people's minds and having it spread like wildfire around the world, around the whole fucking planet. That's what needs to happen. I'm not sure exactly how to ignite that brush fire and have it, and have it spread around this world like a wildfire. I'm not sure what would be the spark to ignite that fire. Because honestly, like I said, for over 2,000 years, we've been slaves. And you might want to say that we live in a free nation or a free country here in the US. That's just not fucking true. We're not free. You don't know what freedom is. You've never been free. You might be a little freer than other countries, but I don't give a flying fuck. That's not the litmus test of freedom. Oh, we're freer than that country over there. That's not the litmus test of freedom. Okay? Just because you have a little bit more freedoms than that other country over there does not make you fucking free. No, it just means that you're not as much. You have a longer chain than those countries over there. That's all. They have a shorter leash in a sense than we do. That's all. We're still on that leash, but our leash is a little longer. That's all. The only thing is like, like I said, self-defense can be very violent and violence can be used for good. But when it comes down to ideas, you cannot kill an idea with bullets. You have to kill an idea with better ideas. You cannot kill communism with bullets. You cannot kill socialism, communism, Marxism, Leninism, democracy. You can't kill those ideas with bullets. You can defend yourself from the actions of those ideas, but you cannot kill those ideas with bullets. You have to kill those ideas with better ideas. And like I said, I believe anarchy or anarchism is actually better. But too many people for thousands of years been indoctrinated with this idea that the idea of anarchy is like a utopian type of an idea that can never happen because there's always going to be somebody that wants to rule over you. And too many people for thousands of years are willing to accept the idea that a small number of people have the right to rule over others and everybody else has the obligation to obey. And that has been ingrained in everybody's minds for thousands of years. So trying to kill that idea, like I said, it won't happen overnight, but that's what we have to do. It's just one of them things, man. You guys, hey, I appreciate all you guys for hanging out. I'm gonna take off and wander around YouTube for a little while and do some window shopping. And like I said, I appreciate all you guys for hanging out and coming in. Like I said, this was just kind of like a spur of the moment, kind of like a pop up live and all that stuff. I didn't really have a purpose, but I was bored, and I'm glad you guys came in and hang out and when you're willing to have a back and forth in conversation with the chat and whatever. One of these days, I want to have another live stream. I'm trying to think of exactly. I don't know. Maybe one of these days, I want to have another live stream and get some people, get a bunch of people up on panel, and sit back and talk and have a good time here on panel. I haven't done one of those in a while, and so one of these days I'll probably do that sometime. I'm just not sure. It'll probably be a random thing or something like that, or whatever. But and we'll have to get together and do that again, and have one of those one of those times where we can get up here and just hang out and have a good time. I know I'll probably catch you guys somewhere else out here on YouTube, and we'll talk again. Much love to all you guys out there, and have a good day. And all that good stuff. C1122 Wingnut Radio for Anarchy Television. And I'm back out, y'all.